She left her wedding ring on the kitchen table. No note. No goodbye. Just silence. And 5 minutes later, a man I'd never seen before knocked on my door, asking for her. That was the moment everything shattered. I thought she was at work. I thought we were fine. But this man, he knew things. Personal things. Things only I should have known. My hands were shaking. My chest was tight. He looked me dead in the eyes and said one sentence that made my blood run cold. And in that instant, I realized my marriage had been a lie from the very beginning. But it gets worse. Because when I finally opened her laptop, the truth it went beyond a simple lie. It crossed a line that can't be uncrossed. And the person behind it all was someone I trusted with my life. You won't believe who it was. I wasn't even suspicious at first. That's what bugs me most. I had no clue. No gut feeling. No nagging doubts. We were fine, or so I thought. Melissa and I had been married 7 years. No kids yet. Both working full-time jobs. She's in marketing. I'm in logistics. Life was stable, boring even. That's how I liked it. The only thing that stuck out was the bank. She changed banks. Just like that. Said her old one had too many hidden fees, and she'd opened a new account at a branch closer to her office. That didn't seem weird. People change banks all the time. But then she suddenly became obsessed with organizing our finances. Insisted we split everything 50-50ths, even stuff we used to just lump together. Groceries. Streaming subscriptions. She even asked me to Venmo her half of a Target run where she bought light bulbs and a bathroom rug. I joked about it. Called her my personal auditor. She didn't laugh. She just muttered something like, "It's just cleaner this way." I let it go. 2 weeks later, she said she was going to start handling her own savings separately. I was already covering most of the mortgage, so it wasn't a fight, but still, it was weird. Like she was slowly backing out of our shared life without saying it out loud. She started working late too. A lot. Campaign deadlines, she'd say. Client calls. Sometimes she wouldn't get home until 9:30. Once, I texted her around 8 asking if I should wait for her to eat. No reply for 20 minutes. Then a message. Ugh, totally forgot. Just eat. I'm stuck in a strategy meeting. Fine. But then I started noticing something. She always came home freshly showered. Hair still damp. Makeup redone. I asked her about it one night. She snapped. Said she felt gross after work and that I was micromanaging her hygiene. That one hit hard. I dropped it. Then came the slip. Last Tuesday, I got home early from work. Warehouse inventory got pushed back a day. I was unloading groceries when I noticed a receipt on the counter. Not mine. Not from our usual store. It was from Branch Federal Credit Union, the new bank she had joined. A deposit receipt. $1,800 cash. That was odd. Melissa never carried cash, let alone deposited it. And this wasn't from a check, clearly labeled cash deposit. She didn't mention anything about getting that kind of money. I picked up the receipt. Dated 2 days ago. Time stamped 11:42 a.m. During her lunch break, I texted her casually. "Hey, you deposit some money the other day?" She replied 6 minutes later. "Yeah, finally cashed out that old freelance client who owed me. Forgot to mention it." Something felt off. She hadn't done freelance work in over a year. I remember because she made a big deal about quitting side gigs to focus on mental clarity. I didn't say anything, just responded with, "Cool." Then I slid the receipt into the back of one of our kitchen drawers. That night, she acted totally normal. We watched Netflix, ate takeout. She even leaned her head on my shoulder. But I didn't sleep. Because the next morning, I called that bank. Not to snoop exactly, just to verify. I asked general questions, pretending I was interested in opening an account. The lady on the phone was polite, chatty, told me about their flexible hours and private client advisors. I asked, "How busy is the branch around noon?" "Oh, very quiet," she said. "That's usually when our appointments come in. People like privacy during lunch." Appointments. Privacy. That night, I asked Melissa if I could stop by her branch sometime, joking that I might switch too. She paused, just for a second, but I caught it. I don't recommend it," she said. "They're super slow, always behind." Now I was watching her. I didn't want to, but I couldn't help it. Every word sounded calculated. And then, 2 days later, I saw it. She got a text while she was in the shower. Her phone was face up on the nightstand. Message preview. "Can't stop thinking about you today. Lunch again next week?" The number wasn't saved. I didn't open it. But that was the moment I knew. Something was wrong. Very wrong. I didn't ask her about the text. Not right away. I wanted to, but something told me not to. That tiny preview alone had already shifted everything. She got out of the shower humming. She kissed me on the cheek. I kissed her back. That pissed me off more than anything. I kissed her back. I waited until she left for work the next morning and called in sick. Told my boss I had stomach issues. He didn't ask questions. At 11:40 a.m., I parked across the street from the bank. I didn't plan to follow her or anything. I just wanted to see if she actually went in. I had no clue what I'd do if she didn't. She did. At 11:52, Melissa walked into the bank wearing a different outfit than she left the house in: jeans, flats, and a dark blue blouse I hadn't seen in months. Her hair was down. She looked relaxed, smiling. She greeted someone just inside the entrance with a hug. A hug from a man. Tall, maybe 40s. Button-down shirt, slacks. They didn't look like strangers. They talked for a moment and walked together toward the back offices. Not to a teller. Not to a waiting area. They disappeared behind one of those frosted glass doors labeled Private Banking. I sat there another 20 minutes before driving off. That evening, I asked her casually how her day went. Exhausting, she said. Had to redo an entire pitch deck. Client changed everything last minute. That lie, the ease of it, that's when it all clicked. She wasn't just hiding something. She was practiced at it. I didn't sleep that night either. Over the next few days, I started paying closer attention to her schedule. Her work calendar used to be synced with our shared Google account, but I noticed she'd stopped updating it. I asked her why. Oh, it was just cluttering things, she said. We barely use it anyway. Another small cut. Another layer removed from our shared life. I started writing down her comings and goings in a notebook. Call it pathetic, call it paranoid. I needed to be sure. Needed to track the gaps. Tuesday. Left at 7:50 a.m. Home at 9:40 p.m. Wednesday. Left at 8:05 a.m. Home at 9:15 p.m. Thursday. Left at 8 a.m. Home at 9:35 p.m. Every night, she was tired. Drained. But not in a way I recognized. It wasn't the tired of a hard day's work. It was something else. Something private. That Friday, she said she had a team happy hour after work. I asked where. She paused. The Wren. That place near the subway. You've been there. I had. It was loud, crowded, forgettable. Who's going? I asked. She listed off for coworkers. One name was made up. I knew because I looked at her LinkedIn later, and there was no one by that name at her company. I even checked the employee directory. She left at 7:30 p.m. At 8:40, I drove to the Wren and walked in. It was packed. I ordered a drink and scanned the crowd. She wasn't there. Neither was the man from the bank. At 10:15 p.m., she texted me. Heading home soon. Traffic's crazy. She got back at 10:42. I asked her how the happy hour went. Same old. Loud. Everyone got a little too drunk. Did you see Lauren? I asked. The fake name she'd used. She nodded. Yeah, she was hilarious. That was the moment I knew I had her. She was lying directly to my face. I stared at her as she kicked off her shoes and dropped her purse by the door. I didn't say anything. I couldn't. Not yet. Because I didn't have a name. And I needed one. I didn't have to wait long. Saturday afternoon, Melissa said she was going to get a manicure with her friend Sarah. I nodded and smiled. Watched her grab her purse and head out the door. 30 minutes later, I checked Sarah's Instagram. She was at her cousin's baby shower in Connecticut. So I waited. Sat on the couch and stared at the TV without hearing a word of it. 2 hours later, I heard the front door. She came in humming again, in a suspiciously good mood. Red nails. Big smile. You want anything from that Thai place later? She asked, dumping her purse onto the counter. Nope, I said. I was thinking I'd cook tonight. She looked surprised, then pleased. Nice, she said. What's the occasion? Just felt like staying in. She wanted to take a shower. Left her purse sitting wide open. I never touched her stuff before. Never needed to. But now, I didn't hesitate. I reached in and grabbed her wallet. Opened it fast. Credit cards, some receipts, and a business card tucked behind her ID. The card said, Daniel Trent, Senior Personal Banker, Branch Federal Credit Union. I froze. That was him. Had to be. There was a number on it. A direct line. I quickly snapped a photo with my phone and slid everything back exactly the way I found it. She came out 10 minutes later in pajamas and wet hair. Like nothing was wrong. We made dinner together. Ate. Watch TV. She laughed at a joke in some sitcom. I laughed too. My stomach was twisting in knots. At 1 a.m., when she was asleep, I got up and went into the guest room. I looked at the business card again. Daniel Trent. The man she hugged at the bank. The man she met behind closed doors. The man texting her about lunch again. I looked him up. He wasn't hard to find. The bank's website had a full staff directory. His profile photo confirmed it. It was him. Clean-shaven, sharp suit, fake smile. Looked like the type who practiced small talk in the mirror. I wanted to call the number right then. Ask him who the hell he thought he was. But something told me that was exactly the wrong move. Instead, I kept digging. The next morning, while she was in the shower again, I checked her purse a second time. There was a small folded receipt at the bottom. Crumpled. I opened it. 2 entrees. 1 dessert. 1 bottle of wine. Date night menu. $142. Not from Thai. Not from a casual happy hour. This was from a fancy restaurant downtown. The receipt was dated last Tuesday, the night she claimed to be working late. The name of the place? Levier. She'd once said it was too romantic, and she'd rather go someplace real. Apparently, it was real enough for Daniel. And then it happened. Monday morning, Melissa left her phone charging in the kitchen. Unlocked. I have no idea why. Maybe she forgot. Maybe she got too comfortable. I walked in, saw the screen lit up. Notifications from Slack, one from DoorDash. Nothing alarming. Then a text popped up. Daniel, can't stop thinking about the way you looked Friday. She hadn't deleted the thread yet. I tapped it. Hundreds of messages. Some charming, some clearly crossing boundaries. And one photo that ruined everything. I opened it. Her. In our bed. Wearing the black lace she told me she had thrown out because it didn't fit right anymore. It fit. I didn't feel anything. No anger. No heartbreak. Just clarity. I took a screenshot. Then another. Then I closed the thread, walked out of the kitchen, and started a list. A list of everything I needed to do. Because now I had a name. The thing about catching someone red-handed is this. It doesn't give you satisfaction. It gives you a job. A dirty, exhausting job you didn't ask for. Because now you're not just betrayed. You're stuck deciding what the hell to do next. That night, I acted like nothing happened. I made dinner again. Chicken marsala. She complimented it. Said I should cook more often. I smiled. She poured us wine. I pretended to be tired and went to bed early. But I wasn't sleeping. I was going through every detail from the last few weeks. Reconstructing her lies, one by one. The fake coworkers. The late nights. The restaurant receipts. The showering before coming home. The next morning, I took the day off. Again, told my boss I had car trouble. Then I went to the bank. I didn't go inside. Just parked across the street. I had no plan, no script. But I wanted to see him. Daniel Trent. At 12:10 p.m. I got my wish. He stepped outside with her. Melissa. They didn't kiss. They didn't touch. But they stood too close. Talked like they were waiting for someone to tell them to stop. Then she handed him something. A small gift bag. Red with white tissue paper. He smiled, looked around, and stuffed it into his briefcase. Then they went separate directions. She didn't see me. I followed her for 4 blocks until she got into an Uber. I didn't follow the Uber. I followed Daniel. Back into the bank. I waited 5 minutes, then walked in like a regular customer. Asked to speak to a personal banker. Told them I had some questions about opening a joint savings account. The receptionist pointed me toward a glass-walled office. Mr. Trent will help you. Perfect. I stepped inside. He stood up, extended his hand. Daniel Trent. How can I help? I didn't take his hand. I said, just tell me. How long have you two been seeing each other behind my back? His face dropped like a stone. Just blank. Silent. I closed the door behind me. I said, how long? He swallowed hard. Then did something I didn't expect. He denied it. I think you've got the wrong idea, sir. I'm sorry, but I don't. I cut him off. Don't say you don't know her. I've seen the texts. The photos. I saw you two Friday. She gave you a gift bag, for Christ's sake. That shut him up. I kept my voice low. Calm. But my hands were shaking. She's been lying to me for months. I said. And now I know who it is. He sank into his chair. Look, I didn't know she was married at first. Bullshit. She wears her ring every day? I snapped. He hesitated. Not when she sees me. Cute, I said. You think that changes anything? He shook his head. Look, man, I'm not trying to cause problems. You already did. There was a long pause. Then he said something that caught me off guard. She said you were separated. I laughed in his face. Right? That's what she told you? He looked genuinely embarrassed. Yeah. Let me guess, I said. She told you we're still living together for financial reasons. That I'm still in love with her. That I'm the one who can't move on. His silence was the answer. I stood up. You're not the only one she lied to, but you're the only one stupid enough to believe her. I left before he could say another word. When I got home, Melissa was already back, sitting on the couch, scrolling through her phone. Hey babe, she said. Where were you? Bank, I said. She froze for a second. Just a flicker. Oh yeah? Everything okay? Yep, I said. Opened a new savings account. She smiled. Good idea. I went into the kitchen, poured myself a drink. She had no idea what was coming, but she would. Very soon. The next 3 days were routine. On the surface, anyway. Melissa acted like nothing was wrong. She kissed me good morning, packed lunches, laughed at dumb shows with me at night. But her phone stayed glued to her. Always upside down on the table. Always face down on the nightstand. And she'd swipe away notifications faster than I could read them. I didn't say a word. I was done asking. Instead, I started packing. Not suitcases. Just a few boxes. Labeled, tax documents, tools, winter clothes. She asked once, why are you reorganizing the guest room? Tired of the clutter, I said. She didn't question it. Saturday morning, I called in a favor. My cousin Sam, divorced, smart, loyal, and quiet, owed me. He showed up in a rental van around noon, backed into the driveway. I loaded 4 boxes and 1 suitcase. Didn't tell him much. You good? He asked. I will be. That evening, I told Melissa I had to fly out for a logistics conference. Last minute thing. She frowned but nodded. Didn't offer to drive me. Didn't ask for details. Sunday morning, I left. Drove to Sam's house and stayed there. She didn't text once all day. But Monday? That was different. Monday morning, she sent. Hey, hope your flight went okay. Miss you. Let me know if you land safely. I didn't reply. For hours later. Everything okay? Then. You're scaring me. Can you please call me? I turned my phone off. Because I wasn't flying anywhere. I was going somewhere else. Back to the bank. But not to see Daniel. I walked into Branch Federal at exactly 2:45 p.m. and asked to speak to the branch manager. 10 minutes later, I was in her office. A woman in her 50s, calm voice, name tag, L. Barrett. I didn't give her my name. Just said, I'm here to report a violation of employee conduct policy involving Daniel Trent. Her eyes sharpened instantly. I kept it short. Told her he was sleeping with a married client. That he had been using the bank's private offices for personal reasons, repeatedly, during business hours. I didn't say my wife until the very end. She didn't ask for proof. She said, thank you for letting us know. That behavior is strictly against our code of conduct. I left a burner email and walked out. An hour later, I got a message. From L. Barrett. Subject, follow-up confirmation. We are investigating the matter internally and appreciate your discretion. If any further clarification is required, we'll reach out. Perfect. That night, I texted Melissa from the same burner email. He's going to lose everything. Just like me. No name. No signature. Just the sentence. I don't know if she figured out it was me. But I do know what happened next. She called me 6 times in a row. I let them all ring out. Then she sent a text. Where are you? I need to talk to you. Please. It's not what you think. Call me. I powered off my phone. Next morning, I returned home. Quietly. She wasn't there. Her car was gone. I opened our closet. One of her suitcases was missing. So was her red coat. And half of her dresses. She ran. But she didn't run far enough. Because 2 days later, I got the call. From Daniel. Blocked number. I answered without speaking. Listen, he said. I know it was you. You got me suspended. She told me. I still said nothing. She's been calling me nonstop. Says she's sorry. Says she didn't mean for any of this to happen. That she loves me. Silence. Then he said it. She told me you two were separated. Click. I hung up. That night, I drove to our storage unit and took the rest of my things out. Because this wasn't my home anymore. Not since the day she deposited $1,800 in cash after lunch with a man who wasn't me. I didn't hear from her for 4 days. Not a call. Not a message. Total silence. Then, Friday night, 7:12 p.m, she rang the doorbell. I knew she'd come back eventually. I was ready. I opened the door. Melissa stood there in that same red coat. No makeup, puffy eyes. Her hair was tied back like she hadn't slept in days. She didn't say anything, just stared at me. "I'm not coming in," I said. "I know," she whispered. "Can we talk?" I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. "Go ahead." She swallowed hard. "I know what you think happened, but it's not what it looks like." I laughed. "Not what it looks like." "Which part? The text messages? The dinner dates? The photos in our bed? Or the part where you gave him a gift and told him you loved him?" She winced. "That wasn't what He was pressuring me." "Save it," I said. "I made a mistake, okay? I was lonely. You were always tired, distant. You stopped paying attention to me." I raised an eyebrow. "Unbelievable. You threw everything away for some banker." Her face twisted. "I didn't mean for it to happen. It just did." "That's your excuse?" She hesitated. "He was there. He listened. He said the right things. I didn't think it would go this far." "But it did." She nodded, tearfully. "Yes." I stood still, arms crossed. She took a step forward. "But I ended it. I swear. After that last time, I realized I couldn't lose you." I almost laughed again. "You didn't end it." "I did." She blinked. "What?" I spoke to him. Now her eyes widened. "I told him exactly who you are. And I told his boss what he's been doing behind closed doors on company time." Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. I continued. "So no, Melissa. You didn't end it." "I did. You just ran." She sank down onto the porch step, head in her hands. "I'm sorry," she said again, quieter. "You're not sorry," I said. "You're exposed." Another long pause. Then she asked it. "Can we fix this?" I looked at her. Really looked at her. The woman I'd lived with, loved, trusted for 7 years. The woman who looked me in the eyes every night while texting someone else under the table. "No," I said. "You broke it. It doesn't go back." She sniffled. "So that's it? You're just done?" "Yes," I said simply. "You can keep your things here until the end of the month. After that, I'm changing the locks." She stood slowly, wobbling a bit. "And you won't even talk about it?" I shook my head. "There's nothing left to say." She turned to leave, paused, then looked over her shoulder. "You know what? You were always so cold. It's no wonder someone else actually saw me." I nodded. "And now someone else can have you." She walked down the steps and got into her car. Drove away without looking back. Inside, I sat down and opened my laptop. One tab was a divorce attorney. Another was the screenshot folder. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stared at the screen. Because she thought she'd get away with it. But the one thing she didn't count on was me paying attention. I filed for divorce on a Tuesday. The lawyer, recommended by Sam, was efficient and no-nonsense. After 10 minutes, she looked up from her screen and said, "You've got more than enough. She won't want this to go to court." She was right. That afternoon, I sent Melissa an email. Subject, divorce filing. Body, you'll be served within the week. My attorney will contact you directly. I suggest you cooperate. I didn't hear back from her, but I heard from the bank. Thursday morning, I got a voicemail from L. Barrett, the branch manager. "Just wanted to let you know Mr. Trent's employment with Branch Federal has been terminated. Your concern was taken seriously. Thank you again." That was it. No fanfare. No dramatics. Just, he's gone. I didn't feel good about it. But I didn't feel bad either. It was just part of the cleanup. Later that evening, I logged into our joint account to make sure Melissa hadn't started draining anything. But I noticed something strange. She hadn't touched our savings. In fact, she hadn't logged in at all since the night she showed up on the porch. I checked the transaction history for the past 2 months. Everything was normal, until one item caught my eye. 2 automatic transfers. Every Friday. $600 each. To an external account. I clicked for more info. The external account was at Branch Federal. Registered under M. Harper, Melissa's maiden name. So she'd opened a hidden account at the same bank where she was screwing a staff member and had been siphoning money, quietly, weekly. I opened the full list. It went back almost 3 months. $600 every Friday. Sometimes $1,200. The total? $9,000. Gone. I stared at the screen. My heart didn't even race. I just exhaled. She'd been building an escape fund, while pretending she was building a life with me. But this time, I was ahead of her. Next morning, I went back to my lawyer. She froze Melissa's access to all shared accounts. I then opened a new account in my name only. Moved every last dollar into it. I also changed my payroll deposit, my credit card notifications, and removed her from my medical coverage. By Monday, she was financially cut off. She must have found out that evening, because at 7:46 p.m. she texted me, "I just tried to pay a bill and everything's gone. What are you doing?" I didn't reply. 3 minutes later, "I have no money, Em. I have rent due. I have car payments. I need access to MY money." No reply. Then, "You're being cruel. You can't do this to me." Oh, but I could. Because I finally understood something. This wasn't heartbreak. It was strategy. She never stopped planning her exit. She just didn't expect me to plan mine first. 2 days later, her lawyer called mine. Said Melissa wanted to work things out amicably. That she was willing to waive spousal support if I gave her back access to her account. I told my lawyer to offer her a deal. She keeps the money she stole. I keep everything else. No spousal support. No alimony. Full separation. Fast. Clean. No contact. She accepted within the hour. Guess she knew better than to push. But there was still one thing bugging me. That first cash deposit. The $1,800 in cash that started all of this. I hadn't figured it out. Until I saw it. A notification from our credit card. She had used it to pay for a rental car. 3 months ago. The same week of that deposit. I pulled the receipt. She returned the car in Brooklyn. Not near her office. Not near the bank. Not even near home. But near a hotel. A small one. One of those no-name places where no one asks questions. And that's when I realized. Daniel wasn't the first. I told myself I wouldn't dig anymore. That I'd gotten everything I needed. Her lies, her affair, her bank games, her exit plan. But once I saw the hotel receipt, something switched back on. That $1,800 cash deposit wasn't from Daniel. It was to pay someone off. I checked the hotel. Small place in Brooklyn. No online booking. All transactions done in person. I called and asked about reservations from 3 months ago. Gave a date. Claimed I'd left something in the room. Just trying to find the right one. The guy on the phone said they don't keep guest info that far back. Privacy policy. But I wasn't asking for names. I was asking for numbers. How many people checked in that weekend? Friday to Sunday. Hold on, he said, tapping keys. 19. Any cash payments? 4. Any under the name Melissa Harper? A pause. Can't say, sir. Like I said, privacy. I thanked him and hung up. Next, I called a friend who works private security for hotels. Told him the situation. No names, just the facts. He made a few calls. By the next morning, I had what I needed. Melissa hadn't booked the room. She'd paid for it. But the name on the guest log was someone else entirely. Calvin Moss. Not Daniel. Not anyone I knew. I searched the name. It took 2 tries to find him. He worked at a gym 10 blocks from Melissa's office. A personal trainer. His Instagram was public. And there she was. Melissa. In gym clothes. Posing beside him in a selfie from months ago. Caption. Best trainer in the city. Highly recommend Calvin flexed biceps medium light skin tone. I scrolled through his feed. She was in 6 posts. Smiling. Flexing. Even laughing in one. The post stopped 3 months ago. Right when the deposit happened. So here was the new timeline. Melissa met Calvin at the gym. They got close. Close enough for a hotel. Then something happened. Maybe he wanted money. Maybe he threatened to expose her. Maybe he had proof. So she paid him off. $1,800 in cash. Quietly. No trace. And moved on. To Daniel. I sat on this for 2 days. Didn't tell anyone. Not Sam. Not my lawyer. Just sat with it. Because the truth didn't hurt anymore. It just confirmed what I already knew. Melissa wasn't confused. She wasn't lonely. She was calculated. Daniel was convenient. Calvin was exciting. I was the fallback. I was the safety net. And she never thought I'd let go. Friday, 6:14 p.m. I got a knock at the door. Melissa. Again. Wearing a different coat. Same tired face. Please, she said. I just want to talk. I didn't move. I know you know, she said. About everything. I said nothing. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I just want you to know I'm sorry. I raised an eyebrow. For which one? Daniel or Calvin? That broke her. She stepped back, mouth open, eyes wide. Then she sat down hard on the porch bench. I never meant for any of it to happen like this. Yeah, I said. You keep saying that. But somehow, it keeps happening. Silence. I lost everything, she whispered. I nodded. So did I. More silence. I'll be gone by the end of the month, she said. You've got 10 days, I replied. She stood. wobbled, then looked at me one last time. I did love you, she said. I closed the door without answering. She didn't come back the next day, or the one after that, but someone else did. And with him came the final piece of this whole twisted mess. Monday, 9:23 a.m. I was halfway through a bowl of cereal when someone knocked on the door. I opened it expecting a delivery. It was Daniel, in street clothes. No suit, no fake banker smile, just a tired, beaten-down look. "What do you want?" I asked, already ready to slam the door. "I'm not here to fight," he said. I need to know something." I stepped out, closed the door behind me. "Make it fast." He looked around awkwardly, then pulled a folded piece of paper from his pocket and held it out. It was a printout of a photo. Melissa, at the gym, sitting beside Calvin. She was laughing, hand on his thigh. The photo looked like it was taken through a window. Blurry, off-angle. "Who gave you that?" I asked. He didn't answer. "She lied to both of us," he finally said. "Told me they were just friends. That it was before me. But I found this. Last night. And when I confronted her." He trailed off. "When you what?" I pressed. She didn't deny it. He rubbed his face. Said it didn't matter. Said I was just a placeholder. That she already knew I'd crack under pressure. That last part actually shocked me. I thought she lied to him. Manipulated him. But turns out, she despised him too. "Why are you here?" I asked again. He looked me in the eye. "I need to know if there were others." I paused, then nodded. "Calvin wasn't the first. And you weren't the last." He took a shaky breath. "I thought I knew her," he said. "Yeah," I replied. "We both did." He stood there, stunned for a moment longer, then offered a weak apology. "I didn't mean to destroy your life, man. I really didn't know." "I believe you," I said. "Doesn't matter now." Daniel walked off without another word. I watched him go, then closed the door. Inside, I stared at the photo again. That was the moment it clicked. Melissa wasn't cheating to escape. She broke our vows. The thrill, the secrecy, the power. And Daniel, Calvin, even me, we were just stages. Pit stops. Convenience. Later that night, I found a box on the porch. No name. No note. Inside were three things. Her wedding ring. Her apartment key. A sealed envelope. I didn't open it. Just tossed it in the trash with the rest of the packaging. I spent the next day deep cleaning the house. Room by room. Anything that smelled like her, touched by her, tied to her, gone. Photos. Clothes. Cards. Candles. I donated everything to a local shelter. It felt like exorcising a ghost. Thursday morning, I got a text from Sam. "You ready for the reset button?" I replied, "More than ever." We grabbed drinks that night. Laughed. Watched a game. And for the first time in months, I didn't feel like I was acting. But the very next morning, I got a message that shattered everything I thought I knew. Not from Melissa. Not from Daniel. But from someone else entirely. A name I hadn't seen in years. And that name was my brother. The message came at 8:02 a.m. "Call me. It's about Melissa. Ryan." I stared at the screen for a full minute before moving. Ryan. My older brother. Married, lives 2 states over. We don't talk much anymore. Not since a falling out years ago. He wasn't even at our wedding. I called anyway. He picked up on the second ring. "Hey," he said. Voice low. Uneasy. "What is it?" I asked. Long pause. Then, "You need to hear this from me before someone else tells you." My stomach nodded. "I'm listening." He exhaled. "It started last year. At Mom's birthday. When you and Melissa stayed over." My grip on the phone tightened. She texted me the week after. Nothing crazy at first. Just small talk. Then a couple weeks later, she messaged again. Said she enjoyed talking. That you'd been distant. Cold. That she didn't feel seen. I didn't say anything. I told her it was inappropriate. I told her to stop. But she didn't. He paused again. She sent photos. Told me it was harmless. Said I looked better than you. That I deserved better than my wife. My heart wasn't pounding. It was gone. Numb. "Did you sleep with her?" I asked flatly. "No," he said immediately. "I swear on everything." I told her to stop. And she backed off, for a while. But a few months later, she messaged again. This time, from a new number. I blocked it. I didn't breathe. I didn't want to tell you. Ever. Because I thought it had ended. But now with everything you've said, I figured you should know. I leaned against the wall, eyes closed. "So she tried it with you too." "She didn't try," he said quietly. "She planned. And I think she's done it more than we even know." I hung up. That was it. The final confirmation. It was never about love, never about boredom, never about Daniel, or Calvin, or my brother. It was about manipulation, control, domination. Melissa got off on making people orbit her, and I was her longest experiment. 7 years. Gone. 2 days later, the divorce was finalized. No ceremony, no tears, just 2 signatures and a notary. She didn't show. Her lawyer handed everything over. I walked out of that office free and completely, utterly hollow. But emptiness has a funny upside. You get to rebuild from nothing, exactly how you want. Today, it's been 5 months since I last saw Melissa. She texted once. Just one word. Sorry. I didn't reply. I deleted it. Blocked the number. So if you're reading this and something feels off in your own life, the receipts, the phone habits, the random showers, the fake laughs, don't ignore it. Because the truth? It's not always in a dramatic explosion. Sometimes it's in the quiet, in the shift, in the missing hours that don't add up. And when the truth finally shows up, make sure you're ready. Not to forgive, not to rage, but to walk the hell away.